You're lying in bed. It's quiet. You're almost asleep. And then, out of nowhere, your brain decides to show you that thing you said at a party 7 years ago to someone you'll never see again. And somehow, it feels just as painful as the day it happened. Why does your mind do this? Why at night? Why does it feel real? That's what we're going to figure out today. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe it was something small. You tripped in front of people. You mispronounced a word in a meeting. You sent a text to the wrong person. You laughed at the wrong moment. It was nothing. It's over. Nobody remembers it. But there you are, lying in the dark, and your brain replays it, frame by frame, sometimes in slow motion. And here's what makes it stranger. It doesn't happen while you're busy. It doesn't happen while you're working, talking, or watching something. It waits. It always waits for the quiet. That's the first clue. Here's something most people never think about. During the day, your brain is flooded with input. Notifications, conversations, tasks, decisions, screens, background noise, other people's energy, your own plans and worries about what comes next. Your mind is constantly processing something. And this matters because your brain has a limited amount of attention. Think of it like a spotlight. During the day, that spotlight is always pointed somewhere, at the external world, at your phone, at your to-do list, at the person talking to you. There isn't room for much else. But here's what's happening underneath all of that noise. Your brain is still storing everything. Every uncomfortable moment. Every cringeworthy interaction. Every time you said the wrong thing or didn't say anything at all. It's all being filed away, quietly in the background. During the day, you just can't hear it. The noise drowns it out. Now it's night. The noise stops. No more tasks, no more distractions, nothing to focus on externally. And suddenly, that spotlight has nowhere to go. So it turns inward, and your brain starts doing something it couldn't do during the day. It starts reviewing, processing, organizing. This is actually part of how memory and emotion work. Your brain uses quiet moments, especially the period before sleep, to sort through unfinished emotional business. Psychologists call this the default mode network. It's what your brain does when it's not doing anything else. And it doesn't go through your best moments first. It doesn't replay your greatest hits. It goes straight to the unresolved stuff, because your brain is wired for threat detection. Something that embarrassed you isn't just an awkward memory. To your brain, it's a signal, a warning. That didn't go well. Let's look at it again. Let's figure out what happened. Let's make sure it doesn't happen again. Your brain thinks it's helping you. That's the part that feels almost cruel. Here's where it gets really interesting. When you replay that embarrassing moment at night, what you're experiencing is not the actual event. It's a reconstruction. Every time your brain recalls a memory, it doesn't play it back like a video. It rebuilds it from scratch, using fragments, emotions, context, what you now know, what you now believe about yourself. And here's what that means. The reason the memory feels so painful right now is not just because of what happened. It's because of who you are now. Looking back at who you were then. You're judging your past self with your current understanding, your current level of confidence, your current awareness. You know more now, so your past self looks smaller, more awkward, less capable. But that past version of you, they were doing the best they could with what they had at the time. The gap between who you were and who you are now, that gap is not a reason to cringe. It's evidence of growth. Your brain just hasn't learned to read it that way yet. There's one more layer to this. When you replay these moments, you always place yourself at the center. You assume everyone noticed, everyone remembers, everyone judged. But there's a well-known phenomenon in psychology called the spotlight effect, and it shows something almost counterintuitive. People overestimate how much others notice them. In study after study, people consistently believe that others pay far more attention to their mistakes than they actually do. The person you were embarrassed in front of? They had their own internal world, their own worries, their own spotlight pointed at themselves. They probably forgot what happened before you even left the room. But your brain never got that memo. Because your experience is your experience. You can only ever see the world from inside yourself. So your mistakes feel enormous to you because they happened to you. But from the outside, most of them were invisible. The embarrassment you carry is almost always bigger than the event that caused it. So why does all of this happen at night? A few things are happening at once. First, the quiet. We've talked about this. No distractions means no escape. Second, your body. When you lie down, your cortisol levels start to drop. That's the stress hormone that keeps you alert and action-oriented during the day. As it drops, your emotional guard lowers with it. Things that felt manageable during the day suddenly feel heavier. Third, the threshold between waking and sleep. As you drift towards sleep, your brain shifts into a looser, more associative state. Thoughts start connecting in unexpected ways. One memory pulls up another. One feeling bleeds into the next. And all of that combines to create the perfect conditions for your brain to surface exactly the things you've been quietly avoiding all day. Night doesn't create these thoughts. It just removes everything else. Here's what I want you to take from this. The next time you're lying in the dark and your brain decides to replay something embarrassing, remember, this is not your mind working against you. This is your mind trying to protect you, trying to learn, trying to process something it never quite finished. And the fact that those moments still sting, that means you care about how you come across, about the people around you, about showing up well in the world. That's not a flaw. But here's the thing you can actually do. When the memory appears, don't fight it. Don't try to push it away. That just gives it more power. Instead, look at it, acknowledge it, and then remind yourself, that moment is over. It happened. It passed. And the person lying in this bed right now is not the same person who lived through it. You are always in the process of becoming. And most of the things that kept you up at night, the world barely noticed them. The cringe is real, but so is the fact that you made it through. And tomorrow, the noise will be back. And you'll barely remember any of this until the next quiet night.